Hey there, Danny here. Welcome to my ramblings. Okay, so I left you to ponder. A little longer than I wanted, but I've been working extra so I should be caught up at the end of this month. I'm hoping. Then I got people to start paying back, but whatever. As it sits now, I'm going to barely be able to make it. I might have to go a week or two into February. But whatever. We're so close, it's fine. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I left you... the last time that we talked, I left you to ponder that you cannot... Nobody can save you, and you can't save anybody else. So now that you've had extra time that I planned on for you to ponder that, this is why it is of the utmost importance to learn to love yourself and find your true authentic self. Because once you do this, then, once you do this, then the world changes. I mean, there's still bad in the world. There's still everything in the world. But you look at things a lot differently. You don't get angry. You don't have the stress or the anxiety that you did before when things go wrong. You just kind of go, okay, I'll get through this. It doesn't drag you into the depths of ruminating about it. So, all you have to do is learn to love yourself and find your true authentic self, and the rest of this turns out beautiful. It's a long process because for me, part of it was going back and dealing with some beliefs that were given to me when I was young. Whether you have to go through that or not, I don't know. I don't know where you are at in your journey at this point, but we can get you through to loving yourself and finding your true authentic self. Because once you do find your true authentic self and you love yourself, the strangers that are around you react differently to you. It's like a whole different world opened up. You're not just in the world and another person in the world, because you have energetically leveled up. It's almost like people that are around you can feel your energy, and it kind of makes them rise up. So, you know how, well, maybe you don't all do it, but I did. If I saw that somebody was struggling with something or not able to get past something or whatever else, I would give bits and pieces of advice and explain to them how they could get past it. Majority of the time, they were appreciative of it. But the truth is, I wasn't helping them. I thought I was, but I wasn't helping them. If I was actually helping them, I would have stayed silent. I would have let them figure it out on their own. And I would have only given advice if I was asked. But I didn't. And the biggest reason that I was like that was because as a child, I was not heard, especially by authority figures and things like that. You'll read about it in the book. My mom called the police on me regularly as a teenager. And had everybody convinced that I was this rebellious teenager that had no respect for her. So I grew up having to know that nobody heard me. Nobody listened to me. I didn't matter. And so when I saw somebody else that was in that position, that they didn't feel like they were heard or that they didn't matter, I felt this overwhelming need to jump in and let them not feel like they're alone. The problem was I wasn't letting them figure it out on their own. Because the truth is, if you are triggered, if you are going through the same cycles over and over and over again, you're dating the same type of people, the one common denominator is you. and there's something in you that has to be fixed. So whether you want to believe this or not, that's up to you. But once you learn to love yourself and you find your true authentic self, you're going to discover that this one thing that I'm going to tell you is 100% true. What we bitch about in other people is what we don't like about in ourselves. So there would be things that you would bitch about, or I would bitch about. And really, I wasn't bitching about that person. I was bitching about that was something in me. Whether that something in me was I had that in me, or it could have been that I was, and sometimes it was, that I was hiding a piece of me. And my anger and my frustration was because I was holding it back. And if you go back into the first few videos, I talk about not making yourself small. And I spent my whole life being small. I was raised by a very controlling, narcissistic woman who could only see anything that would benefit her. And she ended up turning my brother into exactly what she was. I believe that I was saved because of the church and the families that I hung out with from the church. That's why I believe I didn't follow down the same path. I also believe that my children helped me because I didn't want my kids to look at me the way that I looked at my mother. But my whole childhood, I knew that I had to watch what I said. I knew that I had to play dumb and make myself small. Because if I was smarter than my brother, or I was smarter than my mother, then I was being disrespectful. And who the hell did I think I was? I came from poverty, and I'll always be poverty. There would be other things that she would tell me. So growing up, I knew that this wasn't right. This wasn't normal. But I had to stay small. It's kind of like, the gray rock method that they talk about. Well, you kind of automatically go into that, especially being a child, because you don't understand what's going on. And you have no clue. You're too young to even comprehend it. You have no knowledge of the world yet. All you know is that as long as you try to keep yourself within her rules, then, and not seen, don't make a big deal. Don't, you didn't want anybody giving you attention. Because if you got attention and she didn't, oh my God, the torture after we left would be ridiculous. So there's once you come to love yourself and find your true authentic self, you don't get triggered anymore. You're not triggered. People can't make you angry. Not unless they're disrespecting you. And then you're not necessarily as angry as you are just tired of dealing with the disrespect. And at that point, you're just going to put your foot down and say, I'm done. I'm done. Nobody, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and this is one hard lesson I had to learn. Nobody deserves a second chance. If somebody gives you a second chance, that's a gift. And if you destroy that gift, that's on you, not on the person that gave you the second chance. And it was a very long, hard lesson for me to learn, was that I gave way too many chances. I knew I did, but I wanted to believe that there was good in everybody. There's not. And it's not that they don't have good in them. They do. They just keep it small. Because they've gotten by in life by being a bully. By being aggressive and mean and nasty, and people have allowed them to do this. So as long as the people surrounding them allow them to be this way, they're not going to change. So there's no point in you wasting your time with chances. At this point, to get a second chance with me, there has to be a really, really important reason for me to say okay for a second chance. I'm done. I can tell you that since I've learned to love myself and find my true authentic self, I don't deal with a lot of people from my past. Ones that I dealt with on a regular basis. I shouldn't say I still deal with friends and people from my past that were part of my life. But I'm talking about the ones that I dealt with on a regular basis that were manipulative, were disrespectful, were not truthful. I gave them way too many chances. There's no more chances. A second chance with me is you're going to have to come up with a real good story as to why I should give you a second chance, because the truth is, I'm not buying your story either. But once you learn to love yourself and find your true authentic self, you can see through lies. I can't explain how you can do it. You just can. I don't know if it's different for everybody else. But for me, there's a tone change. So their voice has a tone change when they're not telling the truth. And their words, if you listen, will deceive them. Because the words won't quite make full sense. But they would make full sense if you were just listening and having a conversation. But once you get to your true authentic self and you love yourself, your intuition kicks in. And it kicks in full force. You can be having a 5-minute conversation with a total stranger and you'll be able to feel that energy. You'll be able to feel, oh my God, I don't want to be near this person again. You become a human lie detector really, really easily. And it's like, so if you have a conversation, so if I have a conversation with somebody, say on a Wednesday, and they tell me this big thing about whatever they're telling me, and then I have another conversation with them a week, a month, whatever later, and they tell me the same thing, but there's slightly difference to it, and this time it's not anger, they're a victim. You can just instinctively, I can't explain to you how you know it, but you just, it like trips in your brain that, okay, at that very moment, you're in conversation with that person, and that very freaking moment that they lie to you, your brain literally goes, I'm hearing this conversation, but I'm mentally and emotionally backed away. It's like automatic. Your intuition takes over. Once you learn to love yourself and find your true authentic self, your intuition takes over. And in the beginning, you're terrified to trust your intuition. As you go along more and more, you'll start to trust your intuition. So the other night, I was watching some show on Netflix, and I had like these huge epiphanies. And so I wrote a whole bunch of stuff down, which I will be doing another video on. But I didn't want to do that video when I had left you guys pondering the other stuff. So I thought I'd talk about that, and then I'll do a second video maybe tomorrow night or Friday night. So then you can, probably Saturday or Sunday, I'll say. Because the amount of money that I have to get, I'm going to have to get by noon on Saturday. So I'm going to be pulling a lot of hours tomorrow and Friday and then Saturday morning. So I probably won't have the time. I'll just be home enough to take the dogs out and eat and go to bed. And don't worry, I live in my friend's backyard. So if the dogs need something, there's people here. And I don't usually work this much. But after the accident, not having a car, I got to get caught up. I've been behind too far. And I'm so appreciative to all of the companies that I deal with, because every single one of them has worked with me except for the loan with the RV. It's a credit union, and I'm not going to go into full detail of who they are yet, but they don't work with anybody. They're very difficult to deal with. And I've pretty much only dealt with credit unions most of my adult life. I don't care for banks. And so, yeah, that's the only one that's been a battle. But the rest of them have been so good. And now that I have a car, I really want to get caught up to show them that, hey, I appreciate that you allowed me to do what I did because of the accident. Thank you, I appreciate it. Here, let me get you caught up quickly. But again, you can only go as fast as you can, and you can't earn money if it's not out there. And January for delivery is usually a very slow month because everybody spent a ton of money during Christmas and they don't have a lot of it during January. However, once taxes start coming back, then people use that money to pay things down, their credit cards down and stuff like that. So then usually things pick up right around Valentine's Day. So this has been a very slow month. So the money's not good at all. And every delivery driver that I'm talking to out there is struggling the same way that I am. It doesn't help that DoorDash has changed things and finds ways to screw us drivers. They play a lot of manipulation games. It's not just DoorDash. It's other ones too. But I don't deal with the other ones like I do DoorDash. But DoorDash has a habit of trying to manipulate the drivers into doing what they want them to do. So instead of paying us $2 or $3 for per delivery, they now pool them together and give us $2 for 2 deliveries, and then whatever the tips are. And sometimes majority of the time, somebody will leave a nice $8 tip, and the other person will leave $1 or nothing. So they're forcing us to take these people who aren't fully paying, who aren't fully appreciative of what we do. And I know that this whole tipping culture crap, I get it. It's in the systems that people are using for their point of sales. I get that. But you have to understand that when you go to a gas station or a convenience store, you know you're going to pay more money than a grocery store because you're paying for convenience. You should also know that if you're getting delivery and you don't have to get off your couch, get into your car, drive to the restaurant, wait for the food, and then drive back and deal with traffic, that tip, you're paying for convenience. And we don't see much from the delivery apps. They don't pay us crap. And that's why if you don't tip before they started putting these together, before nobody would take it because it just wasn't worth it. You have to remember that we've got to pay for gas. We've got to pay for tires. I go through at least 5-6 tires a freaking year because you're gonna pick things up out there. I mean, I'm doing 800 to 1,000 miles a week. You have to understand that oil changes, I don't care that newer cars say that it's 6,000 or 7,000 miles between oil changes. You're putting that on real quickly. So if you're changing your oil at every 6,000 or 7,000 miles, you're probably changing your oil every month to month and a half. Easily. Because on good weeks, you can rack up 1,200 miles. So I don't think people realize the expense that goes into it. Tax write-off? Sure, but it's not much. And the fact that we are independent contractors, we pay our own, we have to pay into the Social Security and all the rest of it out of our pocket. DoorDash doesn't pay a penny for it, which is fine. I'm not complaining about any of that. What I'm complaining about is DoorDash is trying to manipulate us into taking things that we wouldn't normally agree to because they don't care. They don't care about the customer. They don't care about the drivers. And here's the reason because they constantly tell you that they're a tech company. They're just a tech company. Okay. Because it's an app. That's their claim to fame. But whatever. Sorry about my bitch. But if you're going to be out there and you're going to order some delivery, tip the damn driver. My rule of thumb when I tip, if I order DoorDash or Uber Eats or any of that, I tip $1 a mile. So I look it up and find out where that restaurant is at, and if they've got to drive 10 miles to get to my house from that restaurant and I want that food, they get a $10 tip, if not more. I know that DoorDash is going to pay them something, but they're not getting more than $2, $3, maybe $4 max. That's not enough. And they're coming that long distance. They have to deal with the traffic. They have to deal with the accidents. And I can tell you this right now. It's a numbers game out there when you're doing delivery. It's only a matter of time before you have an accident. I had a perfect driving record before I started doing delivery. And I can tell you right now that you're going to talk to any delivery driver, every single one of them is going to tell you they've had an accident at some point. Whether it was just a small little fender bender or something big. We're out there day in and day out. You commute back and forth to your job. You maybe put on 40, 60 miles, maybe 100 miles a day back and forth to work and then right around your neighborhood for the things you need. We're putting on double that, if not more, in a day. I average between about 180 to 200 miles a day. There are some days, like on Mondays and Tuesdays when it's not that busy, I probably only do about 130, 140 miles that day. But if you figure that some of us work 6 or 7 days a week, that's a lot of miles. And it's a numbers game. And it's only a matter of time before there's an accident. And I used to say it all the time to people, that it's only a matter of time before I have an accident. And I had a few little fender benders, but they were nothing until this big accident. And this big accident had absolutely nothing to do with me. I was not at fault in it at all. I had no way of knowing that she was going to pull out from a side street when I had no stoplight or stop sign. So it was out of my control. But it happens. And I'm not the only delivery driver that's been through it. I'm not the only rideshare driver that's been through it, because the people who do UberX and Lyft and all the rest of that, they have the same problems. So I'm just going to tell you all, be nice to your drivers. You don't want to go out and deal with that traffic or the people in the restaurant. That's what we're here for. We go out and deal with that for you. Make sure you reward us for it, will ya? Show a little appreciation. Anyways, you don't have to tip if you don't want. I really don't care. The point is, I don't care where the money comes from, whether DoorDash has to pay the money or the customer. I don't care where it comes from. And I know DoorDash has you guys sign up. I don't know the other apps, but I know DoorDash has you sign up and then you pay for your monthly subscription or whatever, you get free delivery, but you get charged all these other service fees. We don't see we see none of those service fees, literally. 95% of the time, and I'll show you. Hold on. 95% of the time, my money comes from the customer. So let me get, do I have a good one here? Okay, so if you look, you're gonna get, you can look and see, I don't know if you can see that. You can see that it's like $2.25 and the customer gives $2. It's $3.50 and the customer gives $4. And if you keep going down, I mean, you got Mad Greens, you've got $7.50, customer paid $5.50, DoorDash paid that. Now this one, total line, that was a little bit more, but I was going a lot longer for that one. So the longer distance, you'll get a little bit more. And it was probably, that could have also been with, no, that wasn't with Peak Pay in there. It would tell you. So, and like here, you've got like, they give $2. We don't really see all that much from DoorDash at all. So this is why I say that your best bet is to make sure you take care of the people who are allowing you to sit on your couch and not have to go out and deal with all of it. Because what I like to tell people is I love doing what I do. I really do, and I've said it in several of my videos. But the biggest stress is dealing with the traffic and majority of the restaurants are nice, and after you've been going to them enough, the people know you, so it's easy to deal with. But there are a few number of restaurants that I will not go to for a few reasons. One, they don't put us, they don't care how long we have to wait. And they're not paying for it, so I'm not going to sit around and wait for them. And there's a few restaurants that do that, and I won't deal with them. You get that order, you need to put that order in right away, not just wait until I get there and expect that I'm going to wait around 10 minutes because it's busy at lunch or dinner and you're swamped, so you're just going to wait until the driver gets here and then you'll make it, and the driver has to sit around for 10 minutes. No, not doing it. Not doing it. If a customer called in an order, would you wait until that customer got there? No, you wouldn't. But you do it for delivery, I won't stay and wait. And there are certain restaurants that I will not deal with. Raising Cane's is one of them, and the reason that I won't is because they will not sign up for the app. So I have to literally go inside the restaurant, place the order, wait in line with customers, place the order, and then wait. Yes, they're quick. I will give them that they're quick, but I don't want to have to use my red card unless I'm shopping for somebody. I'm not running into a restaurant and making an order for somebody. If I wanted to do that, I'd go back to waiting tables like I did when I was in my 20s. I'm not taking people's orders. I'm just picking up food and I'm delivering it to people. Now, if I'm going shopping or something else, that's a different thing, and I'm okay with that. But I'm not doing it for restaurants. So restaurants can't get on board with the rest of it. Chick-fil-A is on board with it. Everybody else is on board with it. Then I'm not going to waste my time, because that's just a waste of my time. I've been in there several times where I've had to make an order and I got to wait between time. I got to wait behind 10 people. You know how much time that is? That's a waste of my time. It's just not worth it in my opinion. Anyways, so take care of your drivers, will you? They're out there dealing with the crazy stuff for you. And I like to believe that when I'm at the restaurant, I'm representing the customer. And when I'm at the customers, I'm representing the restaurant, is how I look at it. So if I do see that something's not right for my customers, order or whatever, I will speak up and I'll be like, that's not what the app says. We need to make sure that this is this. Because I don't want this to get to the customer and have them mad. I want them to be completely satisfied and that they got what they wanted. The other day, I had a customer that had texted me and said, it was McDonald's. She said, last time I got delivery there, the French fries, there was only like half in the containers. There wasn't a lot of fries. Could you make sure that they get me full fries? And I said, I will try. I said, but they seal the bag, so I don't have the ability to look at it. And she says, I give you permission to open the bag. She says, and make sure. So when I got to the McDonald's, they weren't fully completed filling the bag. So I told the lady, I said, excuse me, I said, that order's mine. I said, the customer said the last time that they got a delivery from here, the fries were only half full. Can you please make sure that they are full? And then I stood there while they were doing all of it and verified it. And then I did open up the bag to look at it like the customer said. And then I texted them and said, yes, you've got a full amount of fries. So it all went fine. But unless the customer tells me it's okay, I'm not doing it. I don't want to break anybody or upset anybody or cause any problems to where I get deactivated. Because this is my livelihood. This is how I get to travel in the RV around the country. I'm not going to screw that up. Anyways, okay, hope you have a great night. I've got another video that should be out hopefully Saturday or Sunday. And I think it's going to be a great one. Again, I hope you're pondering that, made you realize that learning to love yourself and find your true authentic self is exactly where you want to go. And if you need help with that, again, contact information is down in the description. Feel free to reach out. We can run scenarios. We can, whatever you need. And I just want you to know that if you feel like you're not heard or listened to, you will be heard or listened to by me. I guarantee that. So that kind of goes into the next video. So I'll see you guys Saturday or Sunday. Have a great night. See you later. Love ya. Bye.